We're going to be doing an example of an entity to relationship diagram using the following text that we have here. So looking at this first part, because we're going to do it in parts, the university keeps track of each student's name. So this should be our entity, the student, and they're going to have like a name, right? And then in this name, they have our first, middle, and last name. We can say that these are attributes. And we can say that our name is a composite attribute because it holds multiple values, multiple attributes underneath it. We also have our student number. We have our social security number. We also have a permanent address. Now, this permanent address is probably going to have like a street, city, state, zip code, even though it doesn't say it here. So we can underline this again. And that is going to be our composite attribute as well. We then have a phone, birth date, and sex. Also a class and degree program. So we can start by drawing this out. The first thing that we have is our student. An entity is always going to be represented by a rectangular box. The attributes are represented by circles. We also have our student number and social security number. These are just going to be attributes on their own. And then we have our name and permanent address. Now, our name and permanent address are basically going to be the same thing. They're both composite attributes. So we can draw a circle, and we'll do the address first. So writing address like this, we know that an address is going to have a street. It's also going to have a city, and then a state, and lastly, a zip code as well. A name is going to have something similar. So we have name, and then we are going to have first our middle initial, so we'll just do MI, and also our last name. Some user applications need to refer to the street, city, state, and zip of the permanent address. That's how we know that this would be a composite attribute. And same thing for our student's name. We're also told that both the security number, social security number, and the student ID have unique values. And since the SSN and the student number are unique, that means they are a key. So the SSN and the student number are going to be in a solid underline. And that's going to be it for our student entity. Next we have each department, and so the department should be our entity. We have here a name, a department code, a office number, a phone number, and a college. Both the name and code have unique values, so that means we are going to have a key for the name and our code for each department. And now we can write this out. That's going to be it for the second one. Now we have the university keeps track of a student's minor department, if any, that's important, and the major department. A student majors in exactly one department. One department can have many majors, at least one, and many minors, at least one. A student can be a minor in at most one department. So we have a student and the department, and in between them we are going to have our major and our minor. So we're going to do one thing at a time. The first is our major. The university keeps track of the minor department and major department. A student majors in exactly one department. So if our student majors in one department, in exactly one department, that means we are going to have total participation from the student to the major. And we know that we have many students, so that's why we have an N. And it's exactly one department, so they major in only one and exactly one. So since it's exactly one, we have to have total participation, but we're going to make this 1. Next we have our minor, and for the minor, the university keeps track of the student's minor department, if any, so that means they don't have to minor, so that'll be an important part when we make the entity relationship here. And the department can have many minor students, just like the previous one. A student can be a minor of at most one department. After reading this, the student doesn't have to take a minor. So that means we're going to just draw this line right here. We have many students, so it'll be like this. Now, if they take a minor though, they have to be a part of the department. So this is just going to link to our department. However, it's going to be 1, not many. And we're going to put 1 here just because the minor has to relate to one department only, but it has to relate, so that's why we have total participation. And that's going to be it for our relationships. Next, we can move on to number 4, where we have each course has a course name, course number, number of semester hours, level, and offering department. The value of course number is unique for each course. And then we have some more information, but we're going to look at that once we finish drawing our initial part. So we have our course. Now the attributes here are going to be the name, that's just a standard attribute. We have our description. We also have our semester hours and our course number. And lastly, our level. So we have 5 attributes here. Now the value of course number is unique for each course, so course number is going to be underlined because it is a key. Now some departments may not offer courses, some departments may offer many courses. A course must be offered by and only one department. So this means that our course is going to be a relationship with department. We'll just call this relationship offer, and now we can draw lines to it. So it says some departments may not offer courses. So that means this is going to be, so the department to offer is going to be a partial participation, hence the one line. Now a course has to be offered by the department if it is offered, right? So if a course exists, it has to be offered by a department, which is why we need total participation here. Some departments may offer many courses, so we can have many courses here. A course must be offered by one and only one department, so that's why a course has to be the total participation with our department. Lastly, we have a section of a course. It has an instructor, semester, year, and section number. The section number distinguishes different sections of the same course that are taught during the same semester and same year. This last part's important. A course has at least one section and can also have many sections, so that's going to be our relationship part. So after our course, we are going to have our section, and this section has its own attributes. So first, we are going to have our instructor. Now, there's a few things that's going to be a little bit different here. We have the semester, we have the year, and the section number. Now, the section number is going to distinguish different sections of the same course that are taught during the same semester and year. So our section number is a distinguisher, and it offers for the different sections of that same course that are taught during the same semester or year. So we have this section entity right here, instructor, and now we need to have our other attributes. So our other attributes, we'll just write them out here. We have semester, we have year, and then we also have our, we'll just call this section underscore number. Now, all of these can link to here, yes. However, we don't have a key. And so we need to make a key. That means we need to combine these, and combining these will give us a composite attribute. So we can take these, move them down, and put another attribute here. And we have semester, year, section number. We'll call this like section ID, and that encompasses all of that. And that's going to go into here. Now, this section relies on our course, and since it relies on our course, it's going to be a weak entity, meaning that this key is a partial key. We still needed to make a composite attribute, however, this is again a partial key. And that is going to be how we look at our section. Now, because it's a partial key, when we have our relationship right here, we are going to have 2 of the diamonds to represent this. So a course has a section, so we'll do has like this, and when we're reading this, we're looking at it this way. So up top we go from like student to department, down to here, and then here to here. You wouldn't include these arrows in like a ER diagram, so that's just to show kind of the direction of our reading it. And what I can do is just highlight it so it's not too big of a deal like this. Now for our relationship, a course has at least one section. Oh, and make sure it's the double diamond because we have a weak entity here. And so if a course has at least one section, that means we are going to have a one-to-one relationship here. because a course has at least one section. And this can have many sections. So this is going to be n for many sections. There can be many sections that our single course has. And that's going to be it for our ER diagram.